Arnold, can you tell us a little about the history of Cornwall Harbour?
Yes, I guess I could. Cornwall Harbour was a very busy place before the seaway went by in 1963. We used to have a big ship coming in to bring some material to the mills in Cornwall. We had two cotton mills there, well, one Canada, one Dundas. But I worked at the cotton mill for 3 years. We must have had probably 600-700 people working there. It changed so much that it's hard to say what it was. And we used to have a little restaurant on the corner there we could go there and eat and get our drink. I like living in Cornwall. It's nice and quiet, but it's not as clean as it was.
You know, Cornwall faces the wide range of challenges that most, if not all, communities face, and you know, they range from fiscal challenges with issues like taxation, of course, economic issues, employment opportunities, investment. There are social challenges, if you want to be a totally inclusive community, as we do, you have to have a sense of responsibility for everyone and opportunity for everyone. And so they range right across the gamut of municipal politics, municipal responsibilities.
The slogan says it all: live, work, and play. Come to Cornwall. It's a great place to set up business, live with families. I think that Cornwall has done a fantastic job recently as becoming one of the logistic hubs of Eastern Ontario. We've had great industry between SCM being here, the Shoppers Drug Mart distribution warehouse, and now Target, who recently won a Business Excellence Award.
Well, we've got all kinds of potential. Cornwall is in a growth mode in the last several years, especially in the industrial sector. Actually, we're looking for people to move into Cornwall so they can take up some of those jobs. So I see that continuing.
Cities are often measured by the vitality, prosperity of their downtown areas. And of course, we know with the continuing emerging, box stores, big stores, shopping centers, shopping malls, etc., that downtown business cores are very, very challenging. But really describe the history of a community, where it was, and hopefully where it's going. And certainly we have a very vibrant community or business district in both sectors. Now, there are challenges, certainly there are.
If I can start with what we've got to work with, we've got 25 kilometers of waterfront. That's a lot of waterfront. So that could be our strength and it can be our weakness, because it obviously takes investment dollars, and we're talking about millions and millions of dollars.
Cornwall has always been known as an industrial town, and it smelled bad. We all know that. And now that all that industry has departed, it's been slowly over the years replaced with the health industry, with the supply chain industry. The supply chain companies have realized the massive potential here in Cornwall.
Les nouveaux projets comme le Benson Center, la compagnie Target, c'est sûr que ça amène plus de tourisme en ville, puis plus de résidents si on veut.
We're not going to grow this way at a very high accelerated rate, but rather incrementally.
Another day in paradise, the sun's shining today. Maybe I'll take a walk by the bay. Come on, what do you say?
If I can zero in on the harbor for a moment, the fact is a small community as we have has a deep water port as a very, very rare finding and occurrence. And it's a jewel in itself, and we have to be very careful, very visionary on how we maintain it and how we see the future use of that harbor contributing to the development that continues to occur in the region immediate surrounding the harbor.
When you look at what's been done so far, with our industrial past, what we've done that a lot of other cities haven't managed to do is we've actually used a lot of that, you might call them industrial graveyards, and we've turned them into engines of prosperity, literally. When you look at the weave shed, that was nothing but a deserted, factory a number of years ago, and now it's not just a very busy place, but it's an art gallery too to the past. When you look through the halls of the weave shed and you see those beautiful pictures, the photos of the weave shed when it was a weave shed in operation.
The preservation and the heritage of this particular two-block area is at the forefront of our design. All aspects of our design work somehow interrelate with the heritage aspects of these existing buildings.
City of Cornwall made a decision, has stuck with that decision, that it wants to grow. And that's the way it's acting right now.
We see now a reemergence of the beginning of a residential area surrounding the harbor, which the development will continue this year and in future years.
Well, the environmental impact of us revitalizing former unused properties and lands is so positive, because it means that we're not just stopping the degradation of our environment, but we're actually turning what was formerly a degraded space into a healthy space.
The Cornwall waterfront is just the final piece of the puzzle that needs to be placed to make it a complete dream.
So that port will be central to any future development, and is at the time and will continue to be for many years to come.
I really believe that any development down along the St. Lawrence River and the harbor would be great for the city. It's a great picturesque venue. There's all kinds of historic buildings that can be transformed into something else.
Once it starts getting developed, I think it'll just move the whole waterfront from the east toward the complex will move like crazy. So I give full compliments to your group for this initiative, because I think it's going to help stimulate more and more development in there.
And of course, the waterfront developing into a vibrant waterfront with all kinds of activities is sure to bring more tourism, and we know that the tourism industry is quite important for everyone.
Well, the harbor, I think, is set to be another one of those public spaces that people can come to, but others will come to participate in anything that's going on there because there's space.
Well, the waterfront basically comes from the people. We've never done anything without consultation. So what we do is, first of all, we split the waterfront in 5 sections, and we consulted the various groups and individuals in the city every time we were working on a section. For example, at this point in time, we're working in the old district, the cotton mill district. So we're talking to their neighbors, we're talking to new developers, because there's lots of space. There's going to be lots of people living down there, and it's going to create demands.
You really do need to focus on the planning. Look for the proper land use, the mixes of land use and the neighboring development, how it works, how it fits in.
The City of Cornwall has done its homework. It consulted with approximately 150 people over a couple of days at the Civic Complex. It's done this exercise actually twice in the last 14 years. And it developed its ideas from what the people were saying.
The city doesn't own the land for the most part. It's almost exclusively owned by the federal government, one agency or another, Transport Canada or the Seaway. So the challenge is trying to look at what their interests are, and the committee, the Land Acquisition Committee, is really trying to dig down into that and try to find out, what potentials are there, where should the development occur.
Our location is great. We're next to Akwesasne, our friend across the river. We're close to Montreal, close to Toronto, close to Ottawa, close to the United States. We're on the border, right? So we have to take our place in society, is what I felt, and it meant there was a lot of growth potential in all areas. And that's why I'm working so hard with many others to make things happen in this city.
It's not a secret that the Mohawk Council of Akwesasne has long been heavily involved with anything to do with the waterfront on either side, Cornwall Island or on Cornwall mainland. And they've made no bones about that they want to have input. And we welcome it. We welcome participation. You want that participation.
Every project that comes around is a new challenge, and we, I think, I'm pretty proud to say that we really work closely with developers and proponents to try to make the development job as easy as possible.
They asked for our input and our interest in the development of this project. We became excited over a period of time as to what the potential was on this heritage building and what condominium lofts we could create in the city of Cornwall that would be similar to what you would see in Boston, New York, and Toronto.
Our job is to try to make sure that everything is consolidated, that we're all thinking on the same page, and that we, the projects that are effectively decided upon or selected to move forward are feasible and achievable, and that we can, that success can be had.
The partnership that is there between the City of Cornwall and the Mohawk Council of Akwesasne needs to continue. It needs to grow, needs to flourish, and it's opportunities that your group is providing that allows that to happen.
C'est sûr que la ville est en pleine expansion. Il manque pas grand-chose, je vous dirais. C'est des petites choses comme ça.
It's an opportunity to be inclusive.
Les forces de la ville sont nombreuses. La ville est très accueillante. La clientèle très réceptive au changement.
At the end of the day, it's a shared waterway. It's something that I think we both have to utilize. I think it's something that we can both benefit from.
And I think the Harbour is well positioned to provide that same kind of space.
We can grow both communities with a beautified waterfront.
Sat down and I took the time, thought that I'd write you this song. Dreaming of that smile and the girl I thought was gone. Sometimes it's a walk in the park, other times it's a shot in the dark. When you put your lips to my ear, all that's left is my beating heart.
There's so much potential with this waterfront, this portion of the waterfront, especially in our eyes. We wanted to be able to say, yeah, we were one of the first people to move there, and we saw it all happen before our eyes.
Everyone needs to know their place. Now it's my turn to get back on track.
And one of the things that we always do on our weekend away, we find the harbor places. And we sit there in the afternoon on the patios, and we'll have lunch out there, and we'll just walk from one little store to the next. And to think that we have that possibility right in our backyard is like so.
Well, I think the The scale of this project is such that it really is large enough, and the proposed uses here will draw some interest from out across the country, I'm sure, and beyond, to come and visit. And it is a very pleasant place. I mean, along the waterfront, it's great opportunity. So I believe tourism is a big factor.
It's not the type of town that your mother or father used to live in. It's completely changed, and we feel very much for the better.
So along with the new people moving in and those that are starting to bring business to the community, Cornwall residents will have more of a choice. Instead of going to Ottawa, instead of going to Montreal, we're going to have it here because everybody is coming in from all over, and with that they're bringing their own taste.
Places to eat, outdoor patios. I see it as a summer thing, really, but I'm sure that Groupe Renaissance probably could develop into an all-season tourist attraction too.
Comme toutes les grandes villes qui se respectent, je pense qu'on est sur la bonne voie pour le changement.
It's one of those things you're not going to notice a day-to-day change, and I'm sure you're well aware of that. But over the course of 3 to 5 years, you sit back and, wow, what a change. And especially when you start comparing the photos that you take. And it's just an amazing project, and I can't stress enough how vital it is to the community and to the revitalization really of an entire area of the city.
The whole waterfront, I think it has to start somewhere, and it's going to start with your project and then just move right along.
And this project is a classic example of putting the infrastructure in now so that we could benefit from most of it in the future.
The work that your group is doing, has done and continues to do is nothing short of astonishing. And I'm really looking forward to, my daughter is going to see a much different harbour front than what I grew up with. It's already started, and hopefully we're headed in a positive direction, and we continue to do so.
Not only would the revitalization of the harbour front be so important for Cornwall as a city, but I think it would be equally as important for the residents of Cornwall.
The waterfront will never cease to develop, no matter which one it is. There's always something new. There are always changes and different things you want to do, and different activities. We've got lots of activities for kids right now along the waterfront. For pleasure craft, we got the Balloon Fest, all kinds of those activities. We got large park like Gaindo Park, Lamoureux Park. We got the old district, the cotton mill. So there's lots of things to do, nothing short. We've done over 400 projects. We created a lot of the jobs for people that worked on those projects, and we created a lot of work experience.
So this is the final phase to be able to complete the overall project. And it will be just outstanding for the city of Cornwall across North America.